Welcome to this special edition of the Hilton Head News. I'm Allie McNair, and joining me for this Labor Day week edition, we have Mayor Drew Laughlin of Hilton Head Island. Mayor, great to have you here.
Pleasure as always, Allie.
We get to talk to you a little bit longer than normal on the Hilton Head News, which is kind of nice, so we can go into a little more depth on the issues. I'm going to start by saying, looking at your strategic meeting that you all have, Town Council along with department heads that you had earlier this year, you earmark areas that you really want to focus on here on Hilton Head Island. Let's start by looking at development and redevelopment issues. We can start either with Shelter Cove or Coligny. How about a Shelter Cove update? How are things going? And I know Kroger has had a couple of job fairs already. They plan on opening at least the store, the grocery store and the fuel station by the end of the year, is what they say. Yeah,
and it seems to be going well. No unpleasant surprises that I'm aware of. So yeah, it seems to be on track.
Yeah. Do we know when actually that mall will be up and going, or the development itself would be actually finished?
Oh, completely. I would expect probably not until the end of next year.
Now Coligny, that's another area where people are wondering what's going to be done. We've heard about USCB moving some classes, or at least an entity of their college there, maybe doing some restaurant or service industry classes and the like. Where are we as far as that goes? And aren't we also facing a deadline of having to use some money in order to redevelop?
Right. We've been looking at Coligny for as long as I can remember, at least since the 1999 Bridge to the Beach, charrette, and probably longer than that. I'm told that we've had now about 19 concept plans for things to do down there, and it's just time to get something done. And we do have a deadline coming up for the end of 2014 as far as the expiration of our current tax increment financing district, which would provide some of the funding for what we hope to do down there. And of course, we're hoping we can get that TIF extended for a number of years, additional years, so that we can generate additional funds that we can use. We have a design team now in place. We're into the process of having citizen meetings to get input on the concepts and what their concerns are, what they'd like to see, what they would not like to see down there. And we expect that design team is going to come up with 3 alternate plans for council to consider. And so USCB is certainly a part of that. We're working through the process of hearing the concerns of the residents down there about that, and seeing if something can happen that fits on the property, and how quickly any of that can get done is really going to be a function of extending that TIF.
Okay. Now, this is an issue of development. With redevelopment, when you ran for mayor, the whole land management ordinance, LMO, was a big issue, and revising that and making it easier for businesses and the like to thrive here or do what they need to do to be successful. Where are we at with that?
Well, we've been working on that now for over 2 years, and I believe the committee will have a completed draft of a revised ordinance to send up for consideration by the Planning Commission within the next month or 2. We're going to keep our fingers crossed on that. There's a lot of things for them to work through. They've been working very hard. And I'm very hopeful that we'll have something at least to the Planning Commission shortly. Yeah,
you actually write a monthly column in one of the magazines here on Hilton Head Island, and I found it interesting. You talked about condos and how condos have really aged here on the island, and the challenge is, what do we do? I did not realize you need 100% on board of condo owners if you're going to attempt to do any modifications or redevelopment. Is that true?
Pretty much, depending on what you want to do, of course. But if you think about it, condominiums are all individually owned units, and most owners have a mortgage, so they've got a lender out there who's got a mortgage on that property. And the master deed set forth what the description of the property is and what the description of the units are. And if you're going to change that, then in most cases you're going to need 100% participation by all the owners and all the lenders who have an interest in the property. Now, not all condominium properties are in bad shape. Most of them aren't. But the ones that are, if you're talking about, say, trying to tear down a building and redevelop into something else, then you've got to get all the owners of that building together to say, yeah, that's what we want to do.
This sounds like a big challenge. Another challenge you face, the town council in Hilton Head Island, is the whole issue of the Arts Center and what we do about arts on Hilton Head Island. We're going to talk about that when we come back in just a moment.
I'm here at the top of the Harbour Town Lighthouse with Nadia Wagner. She's the lighthouse keeper. Nadia, this is a Hilton Head icon, but many people don't realize it's so much more.
It is, Debbie. The view is so thrilling. Many people don't realize you can climb to the top. We've had many marriage proposals, even weddings. You can shop at the top for gifts you won't find anywhere else and wave to friends and family on our live webcam. It's the high point of the Low Country.
You do not want to miss this view. What's the admission cost, Nadia?
It's only $3.75 per person, and kids 5 and under are free.
Make this a must-see while you're here on Hilton Head. Thanks, Nadia.
Thank you. See you soon.
We are back with more on the Hilton Head News. Mayor Drew Laughlin joins me, and he said, gee, Allie, there's one thing we need to talk about, and that is about economic development on the island. There's been some progress. Tell me about that, Mayor.
One of the big initiatives of council over the past year has been the creation of an economic development corporation, a nonprofit tasked with being focused solely on what can be done to have a sustainable economy on Hilton Head that provides opportunity for a diverse population. And we've now created that corporation, and council went through the process, assisted by the committee that we set up to help guide us through of reviewing applications for the initial board of directors and interviewing applicants and selecting applicants. And the corporation board had its first meeting just this past week. So that's a signal event, I think, for Hilton Head Island, because it's changing the way that we actually govern at Town Hall. And I think council has great hopes for this initiative. We have a great group of people.
Well, let me ask you this. How will they operate then? Will they look at the issues? Will they do the studies? Will they then recommend what they have found to town council members to take action? Is that how it's going to work?
Yes. One of their first orders of business after they get themselves organized is going to be to find an executive director and recommend that person to council for appointment. And they will be looking at things long term and making recommendations to council. They will also be working with folks who are interested in investing in some economic development project on Hilton Head Island and being the source for them for information and assist them through the process.
So that's almost like a point person, but in a
Yes.
sense a point group of people there working for the island. Now those are all volunteer positions except for the executive director,
they are.
correct?
And we're really excited about the group of people that have been appointed to this and came out and were interested in serving.
If people want to take a look on who's serving, can they go right to the town website and take a look, do you know?
Yes, and there
Okay,
should be
great.
short bios of all those folks.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, that's good news. One thing that you have done since you became mayor of Hilton Head Island was you said, I want to recognize, I want to encourage young people to volunteer. Now, this past May, I think it was, maybe it was earlier, you had your second annual awards, and I have to look up the proper name,
Youth
so forgive
Volunteer
me.
Service
Thank
Awards.
you. It's really a great thing. You recognize these students for the number of hours they volunteered here on the island. I'll tell you, I was impressed by the number of students that do this.
Yeah, we had, I think, 92 this year.
That's great.
And if memory serves me correctly, it was like over 11,000 hours of community service that they did. This is really a fun thing for me. I enjoy it a lot. And like a lot of things, it wasn't my idea. It was suggested to me by Leslie Richardson. in this case. But as soon as I heard it, I thought, this is really great. We got to do this.
And I really think my own opinion, when we hear from nonprofits, gee, it's tough to find volunteers. A lot of our volunteers are aging. Where are we going to turn? I think if you're a young person and you learn that early on, it's something that you tend to do throughout your life. I know you had said to me you were a member of Key Club, right?
Yes.
In high school. So, and you know, or you remember what that felt like.
Yeah, and you know, and the mission of Key Club, and I assume they have similar organizations in the schools now, was in fact to instill in folks a desire to do community service and to teach leadership skills.
When we look at Hilton Head Island in this year, we have lost two people that contributed quite a great deal to our community. Most recently, former town councilman Ferguson passed away. Thoughts on, I mean, long-term service there on town council? I think he was the longest running town council member.
19 years, I think.
Yeah, did a lot as far as getting you know, sewer hookups for folks, you know, paved roads, et cetera, and really kind of watching or taking care of those he represented and a lot of Native Islanders.
Yeah, I think, you know, we lost him, and recently we lost our first mayor, Ben Rakusin. And in a way, you know, when I think of Mayor Rakusin and Bill Ferguson, one thing that strikes me that they had in common was that both of them had what I think were very tough jobs on council. You know, Mayor Rakusin had the job of creating something that wasn't there before, in an atmosphere where the community not everyone was completely sure that the formation of the town was a great idea. And
it got voted down the first go-round, I believe.
Yeah,
so.
And Bill Ferguson had the job of representing Ward 1 on council and representing a very diverse group of folks in Ward 1. And a lot of folks with, you know, I guess you'd have to say a different take or a different sensibility on things, in the sense that a lot of those folks their families have been on Hilton Head for generations and generations, and so to represent the Binyas and deal with us Cumyas on council was not an easy job, and I think Bill did that very well.
I have to tell you the story. When you were running for mayor, along with everyone else in the League of Women Voters, had a debate or, you know, Q&A at Town Hall. Ben Rakusin was there. So he passed away at 90. I believe he would have been 96, somewhere around there.
He was 98.
I mean, still engaged, still interested, and I talked to him a couple of times, but I said, what did you think, Mayor Rakusin? He said, the perspicacity of all the candidates. I'm like, what the heck is perspicacity? I mean, some of you out there may know. I had to go home and look it up. It means the keenness or the ability to, you know, take hold or understand the issues. So he was impressed by all of you candidates, and you became good friends with him, right?
Well, you know, probably not as much time as I would have liked, but certainly one of the nice things about the job that I have now is that I get to know people better that I knew of before but didn't really know. And Ben was just a really impressive guy, and somebody once described him to me as a man's man, and I think that's a good description. You know, he was.
Except I'd say he was a woman's man too, because he was a charmer, and every time I saw him, I loved talking.
He was, and he was still sharp right to the end, and just a really terrific guy. Jane and I had dinner with him 2 weeks before he passed away, and we just enjoyed his company very much.
Well, before we let you go, you're going to be involved with the 350-30 celebration here on the island. You're looking forward to that?
Yeah, that's going to be fun. It's kind of going to be like a week-long birthday party for Hilton Head Island, and the group that has been working on that, you know, again, Leslie Richardson has been involved with that. Has come up with just a really impressive list of events, and it's all going to culminate with a nice big beach party. So it's
well, Mayor Loughlin, you know, I love having a little more time than normal to chat with you. We appreciate your accessibility to Hilton Head News and coming in and speaking with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Allie.
We are going to hear from a member of the Chamber of Commerce on Hilton Head Island in just a moment. Stay right there.
The Weston Hilton Head Island Resort and Spa is celebrating its grand renewal. Relax and unwind at the totally renovated resort featuring new pools, lush gardens and courtyards, guest rooms, ballroom, main lobby, conservatory, and more. Enjoy family fun on the beach, improve your game with unparalleled golf, indulge your senses with newly inspired low-country cuisine in our refreshed restaurants including Oceanfront View 32 and Barony Bar, and rejuvenate at the Heavenly Spa. Stay for a night, a weekend, or more at the Weston Hilton Head Island Resort and Spa. Be well, be Weston.
We are back with more of this special edition of the Hilton Head News, and joining me now is Susan Thomas. She is a Senior Vice President with the Visitors and Convention Bureau of the Hilton Head Island Bluffton Chamber of Commerce. Susan, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me on today, Al. I appreciate it.
Well, let's talk about some of the changes we have seen on Hilton Head Island. One of the biggies has been the renovation of some major hotels. Talk about that and what kind of a difference that makes, or we've seen it make, with regards to tourism in the area.
I'm sure everyone who lives here feels this. There is a renewed energy and excitement within the community on Hilton Head Island. Confidence levels are up. We just did a business barometer of the business community, and our confidence levels locally, not maybe as much nationally, but locally, are way up among folks who are living and breathing it every day. So the impact has been pretty much immediate, of over $100 million in renovations, investments by the private sector, and then some public sector investment in the community that's going to add to that, and some retail investment as well that's going to push us over $200 million within this year of 2013. And as we move into 2014, more announcements happening, and so the fever has struck.
Well, that's good news for a lot of people, because we did kind of go into those doldrums for a while. But you've seen a resurgence. We're going to get into some specific numbers before we let you go from the show, so that'll be interesting to see. What about those renovations, though, and what kind of impact do they have with regard to someone saying, this is where I'm going to go, or now I'm going to go there? Do we really know?
We do know that because we talk to and contact and communicate and do research with visitors. And that is all market segments. And usually the leading edge of that is group business. That's the convention part of our organization as a Visitor and Convention Bureau. So we're actively out there selling the destination, selling Hilton Head Island to bring group business here, and those folks are a little more sensitive to the state of your product. Well, they are excited about what they're seeing and experiencing on Hilton Head Island, and so every time we go to a trade show, we go on a sales mission. We have site visits here on the island. We just had 150 tour planners here about a week ago for
Those are a big deal, I would assume, for you all to make that good impression.
It's a partnership effort with the business community and with all kinds of partners in the area, and we make it happen. And when we can get people here and they experience the island and they experience the low country region, selling them is the easy part because they fall in love with what they see and experience here. But especially right now, because the quality of what they see from top to bottom, from the back of the house to the front of the house, is absolutely excellent.
Yeah, I mean, if people manage to attend those ribbon cutting ceremonies, celebrating those renovations, I mean, what a tremendous difference. And I'm sure, as you say, it has a big impact on people thinking, well, I'm going to bring my business group here for a convention. If it looks fresh and new. So
it does. And don't forget about word of mouth. Word of mouth is usually through a mobile device. It's through a text, it's through a Facebook picture or a Pinterest picture. So word spreads quickly, positively or negatively, among folks who are interested in travel, and interested in anything, but interested in something as passionately oriented as a travel making decision. So we pay a lot of attention to that, and what we see and hear in that word of mouth space, especially in social media, is very positive for our area right now.
Well, I know we want to talk too about some of the media attention that Hilton Head Island has gotten as a destination. We're going to do that, take a quick break, and we'll come back with that for you. Stay right there.
Welcome to Brown Golf, where playing here has its rewards. Purchase a 20-round package of golf prior to May 1st, 2013, and receive a full day with yours truly. That's 18 holes of golf, 2-hour mini school, and lunch. To purchase that package, go to browngolfmanagement.com. That's browngolfmanagement.com. Now, let's go humble the golf course.
Susan Thomas joins me. She is Senior Vice President of the Visitor and Convention Bureau with the Hilton Head Island Bluffton Chamber of Commerce. Susan, we had Mayor Laughlin on a bit earlier. He talked about economic development and how Town Hall has actually set up a nonprofit entity to look at how we can foster economic development here on the island. How important is tourism? I mean, maybe that seems like an obvious question, but how important is that to our economy?
It is a critical connection. Tourism really, across the board, ignites economic development. If you think about it, before someone decides to move to an area, to relocate a business, to even move a major operation there, they look at the quality of life and they usually visit the destination. They might come here for a conference, they might come here for a personal vacation, they might come here for a retreat with their senior team, but it's those opportunities and that courting of the right clientele here as a visitor that often is the spark that leads to a very robust development in any particular business cluster area. So for instance, when we're courting group business here, we look at the business clusters that the town of Hilton Head, as well as the town of Bluffton and Beaufort County, are looking to bring here.
That's a great idea.
And we look to bring more and more of those types of meetings and business travelers here so that they might be exposed to our area and consider relocating their business
So you're
here.
looking at that whole diversification issue even as you are addressing travel and tourism.
Absolutely.
It's like, how can we diversify this economy,
Absolutely.
which I know is important. Let's talk about some of the numbers, because people love to hear that sometimes. How well have things gone this year, tourism-wise? What are you seeing?
2013 is all set up to, by the end of the year, to be truly a banner year for Hilton Head Island and the whole Low Country region. We are pacing to hit our high water mark, which was actually back in 2000. We had right under 2.5, and we look like we're going to hit that mark in terms of volume. But of course, the visitors today are spending a lot more money.
They are. Because
So
someone was saying to me, gee, are people still doing the whole thing of coming, renting, and eating in versus going out? But they are spending the money when they get here.
Absolutely. Our average length of stay is still really long, and we have great vacation rental product. We know that the average visitor party is spending somewhere around $4,000 a week. On the leisure side, so yeah, things are up all the way around. Volume of visitors, as well as a nice pace, not a huge jump, but a nice pace in terms of growth and spending.
Well, let's talk about the accolades the island's gotten as far as a destination in various media entities and how that really can have an impact on what we're seeing.
Great kudos for Hilton Head Island, and as we talked about earlier, this investment in product and infrastructure is paying off with the quality of the visitor experience going up and up and ratcheting up.
Mentioned, we're almost out of time, but let me help you with this. New York Times, I know, like spend 48 hours or 24?
36
okay,
hours
somewhere
here,
in there, right? That
great.
we were written up, right?
Great.
And magazine as well.
Parrots Magazine, #1 family beach destination. Fox News, #1 fall family beach destination.
Wow.
Condé Nast Traveler, one of the best islands in the world.
Can't beat
the
that.
list kind of keeps going
Probably
on
have a
and
little
on.
celebration over there when we get that news.
Woo, you can hear the whoops.
Yeah, well, thank you so much, Susan Thomas. It's been great chatting with you here on the Hilton Head
Thank
News.
you.
We appreciate your time.
Thanks very much.
And we appreciate you watching this edition of the Hilton Head News. I am Allie McNair. We'll see you the next time.